Down in the deep, when your brain goes numb, you can call that mental freeze. When these people talk too much, put that shit in slow motion. Yeah, I feel like an astronaut in the ocean. Ay, what you know about rolling down in the deep? When your brain goes numb, you can call that mental freeze. When these people talk too much.
What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 2 of the Fat2Fit podcast. We got a special guest on here tonight with Will and myself. We have Miss Ainoa. How are you doing tonight?
Good. How are y'all?
Pretty good.
I am fantastic. In a lot of pain, but great.
Little handicap right now, but hey, it is what it is, I guess.
Nothing new for you. It's okay.
Right?
It's part of the growth.
Cried a little bit last night. I was in my feelings, but hey, I guess we'll take it one day at a time.
Listening to a little bit of Drake.
Oh, man, I was disappointed by the shit he dropped, man. Just so you guys are aware.
I mean, you have new music to jam to.
Yeah, not a big fan of the shit that came out, but that's a whole nother topic. Just so everybody's aware, we are live on YouTube, Facebook, and the Facebook page. The links are out on Instagram, so people will be able to join via Instagram. If they want, they can click on the link and they can go on there. I do appreciate the people that are on at the moment. It looks like I might be frozen. Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, but you 100% are frozen. Oh, wait.
Yeah, it looks
Came back a little bit. Moved a little bit. We could make some really interesting memes out of some of these screen grabs, too.
Yeah, it looks like it's happening when I bounce over to my other browser. So, yeah.
Looks like you're just going to have to stick on here and not play with photos.
Well, I'm not playing with photos. I'm over here trying to download the questions that I had for Miss Ainoa here. So before we continue and kind of get into tonight's topic, you want to give us a little bio on yourself? Ainoa, tell us a little bit about yourself, about your journey.
Okay, well, I am basically a fitness junkie. I have done everything from powerlifting to CrossFit, bodybuilding. I have learned to fall in love with CrossFit and powerlifting. I cannot choose either or, so I do both. I'm the weirdo that has 2 gym memberships. I have competed on both, and it's a complete different kind of high from either one of them, but both of them feed my ego in a different level. And I also have a passion for helping women understand and fall in love with their own strength and the warrior that is within them. Because each woman has this fire and this confidence that is being released every single time they touch iron. Like, they learn to love their body in a complete different level. And I think for me, it's women, because that's who I can relate with. But I'm pretty sure men fall in love with it the same way or in a different level. It makes them feel more like a man. I am the weirdo that shows up to a box CrossFit gym, and I do not ever look at another female as my competition. Not because I'm better than them, is because that's a sister. But I do pick the biggest motherfucker in there, meaning a guy. And I go after his ass. I might not win. He might outdo me on weight, but I'm right there. And and it's always happened to where it's like the guy looks at me. He's like, "You were right on my ass the whole entire fucking time. I could not slow down." I was like, that was the point. It's either you break it or you make it, and I'm gonna win. So that's just me. I'm a mama of 4. I have 4 children: 13, 10, 8, and a 3-year-old. My ex-husband's still enlisted, so I really don't get a day off from momhood. I also work 2 jobs, and I'm also running 2 different businesses. My kids are in fitness, sports. My daughter has done competitive cheer, and she's also at the gym. She's 13, and she already can deadlift 185 without any issues. So
yeah, I've seen the little one in the gym with you guys before too. That's pretty cool.
Yes.
Do you have to push her to
Yes.
go to the gym with you, or is it something she wanted to do on her own?
Okay, that's the thing is I do have to push her. She's on that, the weird stage of teenage girls where they just don't want to sweat or do anything. But she's great at soccer and regular sports. So she's good with that. It's just she doesn't like going to the gym because she feels like a lot of people look at her. And with our gym, Eddie, our gym has a lot of teens.
Yeah.
So that helped her feel a little bit more comfortable with it. So now she's going more. I also take my other 2 boys with me, and they love it.
It sounds like she'd be outlifting most of the teen boys at the gym anyway, based on that deadlift.
Yes, this is the thing, and that was one of the. So my daughter and I are completely polar opposites.
Yeah.
And that's why I always make a joke. God knew that he was only going to give me one girl, because we are as opposites as it comes. Like, she's always been hot pink and glitter, and she can't stand being outside. The bugs or anything like that, she will freaking die. Like, crickets scare her, and it's not like ew. No, it's like a whole entire panic attack scare. So. And then you have me, where my mom used to like tell me to dress like a girl.
Yeah.
So we are completely opposite. She loves being strong, but she doesn't like outlifting the boys because she still wants to be a girl. So it's just been it's a crazy thing, because I'm like, if you were to be disciplined into this, you will be a fucking Brooke Wells.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, that's absolutely what you will be doing. But you can't force this into anyone. It has to come in their own time, and it's gonna develop at its own pace.
Yeah, that's kids for you. I mean, my 12-year-old is kind of the same spot. She wants to work out, but she doesn't want to go to the gym. It's kind of one of those things where she's shy about it, and she still wants to be a girl, but kind of stuck in that stage of trying to figure out what she actually wants to do.
I think it's a weird stage of finding their identity, and I think we all go through that even while we are adults and going to the gym, because, like I said, I've done every single phase of it.
It's pretty cool to get the kids active nowadays, especially with everything that's going on. Sorry to cut you off there, Will. The younger they are and the more you teach them to be active or set that example, it's really going to help them out in the long run. So that's definitely awesome.
Yeah, for sure. I was just going to comment on something you said early on. You said you were the weird person that has 2 gym memberships at the same time. I wanted to point out the fact that since I got serious about fitness, I've been, I guess you could call like a single sport athlete. I wouldn't. The first 2 or 3 years of that, I wouldn't even refer to myself as like a bodybuilder. But there have been multiple occasions where I've had like upwards of 3 or more gym memberships at a time. And it's like if you're weird, then I'm a complete freak, because all I do is lift weights. And through college, I don't think there was a single point in time in college where I didn't have at least 2 gym memberships, and I normally had 3 or 4. You're not alone in that.
Three is the most I ever had. Street, Walmart, and then Fitness for Less, right? That was the name of the one that closed. Yeah, it's kind of always keep one in the back pocket.
I didn't need an extra membership because I could get everything in one spot.
Yeah, correct.
That's how I am now. I've only got one membership now, which a big part of that too is just with me moving to a new spot. I just lift where my people are at and where we have equipment that we like. So that's me. Yeah. I'm also the person that goes into the gym. Granted, if I was going to a box, I know I already said this, but a box is the common term for a CrossFit gym. But if I were to different from a box, I feel like people who work out together in a box, and this is something that you can speak on a lot more than I can. I feel like the people that are out doing CrossFit and they're a member of it's not really like a fitness group or anything like that, like a group of people. Like it's very much a like family community type of feel is what I've heard from other people and kind of like what I see and what I pick up on. It's like very supportive all around. It's all very friendly competition. Whereas like your typical gym, you've got people like eyeballing each other and you're getting darts from across the room and people roll their eyes whenever somebody slams weight around and stuff like that. It gets night and day different with the type of community within the building. And it blows my mind. I think it's one of the best things about CrossFit as a choice in a fitness journey as a whole is kind of the community that comes with it.
Like, honestly, the best workouts I get is at the box, and it's not because of the workout. We call it a WOD. Sorry, I have a visitor. No, like literally whenever we do a WOD, right now the open is about to happen, and we literally have like the whole entire thing where we like, get judged or whatever. But like I said, it's a friendly competition. And my group of people already know how to get that little devil out of me. So it's like, oh, they're doing 2 more reps than you. Like they're 2 reps ahead. So that's what I get. And then I'm like, oh, hell no, you're not. So yes, it's so much fun. My boyfriend goes with me sometimes to CrossFit. And we have always like, I looked at him and I'm like, oh, that's all you're doing? Like, come on. Like, we talk a lot of shit and I am a bro. I have 6 brothers. So I do the bro talk all the fucking time. So yes, it's so much more fun. And awesome. But then again, you need the regular accessory work in order to, complement that. And then powerlifting, I still haven't found a good coach out here for my powerlifting journey. So that's on hold, but I still love going into Chase Street and utilizing all the equipment they have for powerlifters.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to tell Van that you said you haven't found a good coach for powerlifting. That's one of our. I'm not sure if you know Chris Van.
I don't.
In that area.
She knows of him. Doesn't? Yeah,
I was about to say he's one of our buddies. He helps out a lot of people with workouts and whatnot, but he's never actually stepped into being a coach. So it's just an inside joke within our group, and hopefully he watches that little snippet of the podcast. But it's an inside joke to talk to him about coaching and how he does it, but he should, so on and so forth. It's an ongoing thing. But
you guys should all hit him up after this. Be like, hey, how much do you charge to?
Absolutely. Please blow up his Instagram DMs about coaching.
I can be like, hey, so I got told that you coach. Can you give me your fees, please?
Just DM him and be like, I heard that you're the premier powerlifting and diet coach
for Northwest
Arkansas.
Yeah. Can you send me your prices, please? Can you give me your link? Where do I sign up?
Do you have a website?
Yeah, you don't want to get me started with that because I can take those jokes to another level. I will be like, is this you? And I'll send him some random people's link. I'm pretty sure this is you.
So I did have a couple of questions for you before we kind of get into tonight's topic, just so everybody learns a little bit more about you. But Will, do you have any questions that you want to ask? Anything specific that came to mind?
This is completely separate from the topic tonight, but this is just something that, like, in the few minutes before we actually went live that we talked about, and I think this is super cool. It's in general, not just with Ainoa, but in just with people. But will you just kind of tell people like where it is you're originally from, kind of when you came to the States, so on and so forth?
Okay, so I am Central American and Guatemalan. If nobody knows where Guatemala is, it's the country right underneath Mexico.
Yep.
Okay, it's the first country of Central America. So I am Latino. Mexicans
look at a map.
Yes. Mexicans do not love to be called Latino. So don't go over and calling a Mexican a Latino. They're not Latinos. They're North Americans, just like a white person. They belong in North America.
Salvadorian and Mexican.
Yeah, do that, and you will get your ass kicked. So, or call it what Guatemalteco Salvadorian. We get pissed about it too, or Honduran or anything. We just don't like it. So I was born in Guatemala, in the capital. My mom and dad are from there too. My dad left to the States when I was 5 or 6. I still have memories of him playing ball. My dad was younger than my mom, so he still played like a lot of basketball. And I learned to love the sport. I also played during that time. Then I was 11 when we came from Guatemala to Arkansas. We actually came to Arkansas. That was our first place, and we ended up in Bentonville. So out of all places, everybody's always shocked. But yes, my dad already had a job here. The economy was better here. So we came here, and I moved from living with my mom and my grandma. My grandma's Sicilian. So I grew up in a very tight, higher end environment in Guatemala. I did not come to the States, for other reasons other than my parents bringing me here because it was safer, not because of actual better, for more money. I was actually went to private school growing up and things like that, so I was pretty well off. But so we came from there to here. I moved in with my dad. My dad at this point, he had a Native American wife, and that's when I learned the discipline of diet. And I played volleyball, basketball, and she was the person that introduced me to an actual balanced meals. And I learned to cook. So I don't cook Latino food. I'm learning now, but I just cook normal like salads and things like that, more like whole foods and, things like that, more natural.
She's Americanized.
I'm very American. But the craziest thing is that back in Guatemala, we don't cook with grease or oils either. We cook with a lot of fruits and vegetables. Like Central America, it's like every meal had a salad and everything was made with vegetables. Like we had chicken and red meat maybe once or twice a week. Every other meal was made with nothing but vegetables.
Yeah, so
we got tortillas and beans.
Not even that. Like we had beans like once or twice a week as well. Like that was one of the, I think it's one of the things that we in America, it's so normalized. And I mean, I was from the capital, so we ate a lot of seafood because the capital is so close to the port. So I came to the States and I graduated from Springdale High, Red Bulldogs, and I played basketball, volleyball. Had to put it in there. I've always played sport. I loved it. It's so much fun. And like you were talking about having that competitive mindset ever since you were young, dude, it's the same thing. I hate to lose. I mean, I will take a loss, but I hate it. And I'm going to do everything in my power to not do it. So
I don't blame you. But so I didn't mention this earlier. During high school, I went on a 2-week and that just changed drastically, and that threw me off. I completely but I went on a 2-week mission trip to Guatemala whenever I was in high school, and we spent like the first week of it was, I can't remember where the first week was. We were at like a church camp type place for the first week, but then for the second week we were in Guatemala City.
Cool.
Which was super cool. And I have to say, like, if I was challenged to like stay on a strict diet down there, I would lose 100% of the time because it's the best Coca-Cola I've ever had. And it's also like the like carts and like small shops that do the like chocolate covered fruits. It's essentially like a popsicle. They're chocolate covered bananas. No matter how awkward it might be for a guy to eat one of those, some of the best snacks. They are literally some of the best snacks you can have.
So there's a place here, Rogers, that has some. And my kids, we always go and get them, and my kids just love it. Like to them, it's nothing, whatever. But to me, that's like a little kid thing.
It's like
we rarely were allowed to eat. We call them chupos, the carts, the food carts.
Yeah.
So we were rarely allowed to do that, but my mom used to sneak them over because my grandma would not want that to happen because that was disgusting to her. So yes, I feel you. Did you ever eat there's a dish, we were actually talking to my sister because her birthday just passed.
Fucking George.
With mashed potato with mayo and ketchup on top of it, and they give you toothpicks to pick at it.
No, we never had that. We did. They were
Guys, this is a weight
was,
loss podcast.
That's the problem. We're talking about discipline today and how we don't have any. But yeah, no, we didn't do a lot of like most of the meals, but kind of like you were talking about, where you're very basic. Like whenever we were at the church camp, there was one night that we had chicken out of the week and one night that we had carne asada out of the week. And other than that, it was your very like basic meals. It was all cooked by Guatemalans the entire time. So it was interesting. I never got to the point where I could really eat the plantains. I don't know why, just couldn't do it. Yeah, they weren't for me. But once we like got into the city, it was kind of with a church family that were housing us and so on and so forth. It was kind of like a bunkhouse, and a lot of their stuff was homemade. That was whenever I learned that like outside of the United States, milk comes in a box or a bag. And I was like, that blew my mind whenever I was in high school. I was like, and like same with same with a ton of other stuff too, rather than it just coming in like your typical carton. But yeah, I'll get off of the talking about Guatemala and what foods I would binge on if I had the opportunity. And I'll let Eddie get to his questions.
Well, I actually, Miguel had a good question for you on here, Will, and I want you to take over this one since you spend more time on the bodybuilding side of things, right? So it says, this comes from YouTube, by the way, but it says, what actions need to happen to evolve out of the standard gym stereotypes to bring in the next generation of athletes? Example, the excessive staring and competing.
Yeah, so there's, especially coming from like coaching at certain points and whatnot, there's some things that just like as a mature adult, you really gotta get a grip on whenever it comes into going into a gym. Anytime I ever had clients, anybody that ever did any of my Group X classes, anything like that, my number one rule was to leave your ego at the door. And that's what's going to get you away from the competing. If you go into a gym and you understand that you are there to better yourself, that time is spent for you to better yourself. Whether that be like you going to the gym, for me, a lot of days, the gym is my therapy. It's where I work out some emotions, some bad mental energy, whatever it may be, whether it's that, or you're just trying to give yourself better body image, whatever it is. Like, you got to understand that you're going to the gym for you, and you're not going to the gym to compete with the guy that's in the bench next to you. That's where you get into ego lifting. You're going to see a lot of injuries happen. As far as staring goes, and especially excessive staring, being on the bodybuilder side of things, I'm not shy with my body. I'll go, especially whenever I have to lean out, I'll go into a gym in a stringer and a pair of short shorts in a heartbeat. I get stared at hard. I'll be the first one to tell you I don't like it. I understand what girls feel like now, because I get these older guys that are eyeballing me the entire time I'm working out, and I feel awkward. But it's something that, like, it comes with it. So staring is going to happen. People may be staring at you. Sometimes I stare at people because I'm trying to figure out if I know them, or they may be doing an exercise and I'm like, that's really cool. Or I may see someone who's literally just impressing me with an exercise or a movement so much that I stare and I watch them. Or I may see something that looks ridiculous and I can't not watch. I mean, it's
or you see ego lifters trying to do more than what they actually could, and you're like, let me record them real quick.
Yeah, I mean, this is an issue that you can't really fix just yourself. It has to be like a culture change. But at the end of the day, the best way for you to do it and fix it yourself, leave your ego at the door, go in, take care of what you do. And I'll even say this, like, with staring, I don't, like, if you watch me in a gym, I stare at people. The majority of the people that I stare at aren't your fit girls that are wearing freaking like the tightest butt scrunch leggings that they can and a sports bra. I consistently stare at like elderly people that lift, overweight people that are clearly in there like and they're newer, or someone who I can tell has lost an immense amount of weight, because those are the people that like motivate me. Like they're the people that you don't expect to be in the gym. Like I expect some Instagram fit chick to be in the gym working her butt off, or some bodybuilder guy. Like I expect to see that, but like it motivates me to see these people who I'm like, that person's fighting something on the inside. Like they're here for a real reason. They have a real purpose. And those are the kind of people that I really watch at the gym. But as far as like actions getting past that, unless you just want to walk up to the person staring at you and being like, hey dude, like take a picture, I don't mind. Like there's not a lot you can do to change other people's actions. You just have to be comfortable living it, like just living in that moment of you being in the gym while they're being weird, I guess is the best way to put it. But that's my take on that. As far as
we got George on here.
So much.
Yeah. George's question. This is so George is a buddy of mine. I'm not sure if you know him, Ainoa.
Are you sure? Is he a buddy of yours? Because his name's 100% pronounced Jorge. Yeah, there you go.
You were gonna go.
Way to hit the R right too. Proud of you.
It's fucking George. We're gonna call him George, okay?
Wow. That's very American of you. That's very American of
you. By American name.
Jesus Christ. Shut up and drink your water. But I'm
trying to stay hydrated, man. I'm disciplined, bro.
So George has a good question on here. So how do we stay motivated? I've had this discussion with George in private, kind of give him my side of things. I will let one of you guys take this question first and then kind of go around sharing how we stay motivated and see if that helps anybody and get 3 different side of things here.
Absolutely. Okay. I was going to say, let's let Ainoa lead off since I just rambled on for like 5 minutes talking about gym stuff.
Oh, you're good. Okay, so basically it goes back to gym being my therapy. My 2 jobs are in commercial cleaning, and I also do construction work. And half of the time I don't have motivation to go to the gym. Hold on, give me a second.
Baby's like, not today, Mom, not today.
Yeah, she's like, Mom, you've been talking to those boys for way too long.
Exactly. So basically, and then I'm a mom, so I can't ever have like actual time to myself. So usually my motivation is that. And then I put small goals, like small little goals, like, hey, I want to buy myself a new pair of those little scrunched up leggings. I don't like those. If you see me at the gym, I'm going to be the one with my butt cheeks hanging out because my shorts are super short. I do CrossFit shorts. So my butt cheeks are hanging out. I'm aware of that. It's not for other than it's just easier to lift. Mm-hmm. So
if you guys see her at the gym, just go up to her and be like, hey, your butt cheeks are hanging out.
Yeah, make sure to let her know.
Yeah, please, just to let me know that they're good. Or new pair of shoes or something like that. That's what I do. So I set small goals, like I want to lose this amount of weight, or I love training back because I love how amazing a nice build back looks like. So I always take progress pictures on that. Do that. My hamstrings. You're never going to be a level, and I'm sure you know this as a bodybuilder, where you're going to look at yourself in the mirror and be like, oh my gosh, I look amazing. I don't need to work anymore.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't happen.
Will doesn't hit legs.
Do what?
I said Will doesn't hit legs.
Eddie, will you do a leg workout with me just one time, please?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Okay.
I've done them with Van. I've done them with Van. It can't be any.
Yeah, I was about to say there's no way. Like, I was about to say I'm not going to beat Van's workouts. So
yeah.
But no,
so
that's go ahead.
So what's your motivation, Will? Before I get deep into it here with Steven, Jorge.
And honestly, Jorge, Ainoa hit it on the head. She said one thing that I really think is the key. If motivation is what you have to rely on, right? So like motivation is going to be what drives you to the gym and drives you to stay on top of stuff. But at some point, motivation is going to lack, and that's when discipline has to take over. And that's whenever you literally just have to look at yourself in the mirror and say, get over it, go to the damn gym. My girlfriend Jalynn can back me up on this. There are times where like I'll call her after I get off work and I'm laying on the couch like ready to just snooze and take a nap, and she'll be like, dude, get off your lazy ass and go to the gym. Like, you don't get to skip. You're like, no, go. And I've even done that. I've called friends before and been like, hey, I need you to like light a fire under my ass right now. Call me a bitch, do whatever you have to do, but make me go to the gym.
Bitch.
I know you do it anyway, just because. I don't have to ask you. You enjoy it. But what Ainoa said that like really that I really agree with like very strongly is setting small goals. So like everybody wants to, well, I'm not going to say everybody wants to. Most people want to have a body that could be on a magazine cover.
Yeah.
And that's just that. Everybody wants to look good naked. Now everybody has a different version of what they think looking good naked is. But like if I looked at myself in the mirror even right now and I said my goal is to look like Mr. Olympia, which it's not, but if I said that, I'm so drastically far away from that goal that it's not realistic that goal can motivate me. So right now I'm right around 220. My biggest goal right now is just the next time I step on a bodybuilding stage, I want to be at a stage weight of 200 pounds. Whereas the last stage weight I had was 187. So that's my small goal, is to put on 13 good pounds, some 13 pounds of lean mass before I step on stage next. So that's my small goal. Realistically for me, that goal is going to take over a year to get done. But for me, that's small because I've been doing this for 4 or 5 years. Whereas if you're more of a casual lifter, you go in during the winter because there's less to do outside, or springtime because you want to get ready for summer. Think about that and just do you can take body measurements and say, I want to add an inch to my arms, that's a lot. An inch is a lot to the arms. First off, I'll put that out there, but find a way to set small goals. I want to lose 1 pound this week, or if you're trying to put on healthy weight, I want to gain half a pound of healthy weight. It's just small goals that lead up to milestones is going to be the best way to keep you on track, because then you're always going to feel like you're achieving something rather than looking at your end goal and saying, damn, that's so far away, it's going to be impossible to achieve. That's my take on staying motivated.
So I'll give you guys...
Sorry. Take pictures. Like, take pictures. Always take pictures and hold yourself accountable for that. That's like another big deal. I know everybody makes fun of like girls always taking their photos and always posting for like whatever their straps or whatever you want to call them. But honestly, that helps so much, because then you holding yourself accountable to that body.
Yeah.
Like you're supposed to get better than this. So you have to. There's no way, backing down from that.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna give you guys the typical. Sorry to cut you off there. We're gonna keep cutting each other off here. I'm gonna give Jorge, since you guys gave me so much shit, I'm gonna give him my side of motivations. Right, this is gonna be the weight loss side of things, and this is talking to George directly to him, I guess, on video, since normally we just have like a little group chat between guys, right? So motivation you really have to, one, I use my family as motivation, right? George actually asked me this same question not too long ago, maybe like 3 days ago. And I gave him the example of, you know what motivates me, man? The fact that I'm fat, and if I continue to be fat 5 years down the road, 6 years down the road, I probably won't live. So being the fucking smart ass he is, he hit me up and he's like, well, I'm not trying to lose weight because I'm trying not to die. It's not life or death for me. I was like, George, it's not life or death for me either yet. But if I tell myself that, right, Yeah, if I tell myself that and keep that in my head, that's more than enough motivation for me to say, you know what? Fuck my excuses. I got to get my fat ass in the gym and I got to make changes, right? So I look at my family. I look at my family, or I look at my friends. I've said this plenty of time. My close friends, Will, Van, Laura, they all motivate me. Not necessarily the simple fact that, hey, they're bodybuilders, they work out super hard all the time, and Cash as well, since I didn't shout out Cash there. But my family, man. I mean, my family motivates me. My wife, she's thin. She likes going to the gym, and I push her to go to the gym too. But you really got to take that motivation, right? I'm speaking to you, George, because you have kids yourself and you have a wife, right? If you're unhappy with your weight currently right now, and you're not doing anything about it today, imagine what it's going to be like next year or the year after, right? So if you're trying to make small changes now, why not at least make little changes that are going to benefit you down the road, so you don't have to put yourself in a position like I did, where I got super overweight and now I'm having to reverse everything that I did. That's my word of advice there. That's what motivates me. It's like, tell myself dumb little shit to get my ass to the gym. And like you guys said, is I set small goals. My first small goal was to lose 50 pounds, right? I lost 50 pounds in 7 weeks. Looking at this camera, I can see how fucking small my face looks compared to what it used to look like. But that's my shit.
George, I was gonna say, George just put this on here that if we become successful in this, that he's gonna tattoo our names on his body because he can tell that we're genuine. I appreciate that. But I will be the first one to ask you to not put my name on your body because I don't want you to regret it here later. And it's
I
probably
already put your name on my body, Will.
Did you really? Huh.
It's right next to my heart, bro. That's where it's at.
That's such a lie. That's such a lie.
But
no, to kind of just to piggyback and kind of give another, like, paint a picture of what Eddie's saying is, if you think of your weight loss journey as like a game of tug of war, right? Like, think of like you're on one side and death is on the other, right? So if you want to look at it that way, of like, if you get too far gone, death is the consequence. And that, like, true. It's a very dark way to look at it. But the further away death, like as death pulls you closer to whatever that center line is, the more work you're going to have to do to get it back far away to where you're going to beat it, right? So if it's something now where, like Eddie said, he's got 5 or 6 years where he could have messed around a little bit longer, but he decided to take control of it now. But think of how much further Eddie would have been away if he waited another 2 or 3 years. Same with you. If you're not in a desperate need for weight loss right now, you're a little bit closer. It's not going to take as much work for you to get to where you want to be. I mean, I always tell people to start with simple things. Stop eating fast food. Like, cut McDonald's and Sonic and Chick-fil-A, whatever it is, out of your diet, unless you absolutely have to. But when you do, try to eat it as clean as possible. Or one of the big ones is cut out sodas, cut out sugary energy drinks. I'll be the first one to tell you, I drink at least 1 energy drink a day, unless it's the weekends and I don't feel like going out, and then I'm just not going anywhere to get one. But I do drink 0 calorie. They're not much better for you, but at least you're not drinking empty calories. So make small changes, set small goals, kind of follow that path. And the longer you take to wait and to make those changes, the more changes and the harder it's going to be. Hey, I understand that you love your McChickens. Just replace you can order them without the bun and in a lettuce wrap instead.
Here's the thing. Eat the McChicken, don't get the soda, right? So
Also
that's how I started. That's how I started myself, was the fact that, like, obviously in these past 7 weeks, I've been super strict and disciplined with the shit I've been eating. However, like last year, I took the time to like really get to know my body and how my body was going to react to like cheese and all this other shit, right? So I stopped drinking soda, but I kept eating the shit that I loved. And I was making super small changes. Like, I was still enjoying, for example, like, I don't eat McChickens, but I would still enjoy a McChicken, but I wouldn't get the Coke to go with that McChicken because I was eating what I wanted instead of drinking empty calories. Which kind of leads to like the reason why we have Ainoa on here, right? Was when I look at her at the gym, she's in the gym all the time. She's a great example of what a woman who's got 4 kiddos and has a hectic life, but still finds a way to balance the gym, right? Fit in the gym into her lifestyle. So that should be very motivating to like a lot of other females out there who are trying to kind of get into the gym. So that was the question that I had for you was, what advice would you give a woman or just anybody in general on how to balance their life, handle the kids, but still be able to get their workout in and stay disciplined to their diet?
So one will be realistic with your life. When I had my 4th child, that was after my divorce. So usually whenever I went back to the gym with, post 3 kids, my ex-husband used to stay home with him, right? And then I would go to the gym late at night, and that was the help. But with my 4th one, his dad was not around, and I didn't have that luxury. So I had to be realistic with that. So I worked that at home. For the first 12 weeks of Judah's life, I worked that at home. I was working out the day before I had Judah, went into labor with Judah. And then the week after I had him, I was back to working out at home, doing stabilizing work, mobility, things like that. Moving forward, now Judah's 3. He goes with me. If I didn't go to work, my second job, I work in the mornings every day, my commercial cleaning every morning anyways. But let's say in the afternoons, I don't have any residential work. He will go with me. And I run my household as a drill instructor. So it's very on the go. It was not noticeable now.
You don't fuck around. I've seen you with your kids. I've met your kids. I'm like, damn, Mama 4, this woman's fucking the army in her household. Shit.
Yeah, this
one. That damn shit up.
It was because I didn't want you all seeing my mean side. But yeah, so one, it starts with that. Be realistic with what you've got going on. If you can't afford the gym membership, start taking small walks. There's a lot of at-home. YouTube has a ton of workouts you can do at home. I started with Insanity. That was my thing. Like I did that for a while. Yes. So it was basically very realistic. Right now, I can't compete because of COVID. A lot of the competitions are so far off, and my kids need me to be at home a little bit more because I'm always at work. So I'm not competing this year yet, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to go to the gym. I'm setting other different goals right now. I'm working on a fitness plan for clients, so I have to put that to work and figure how those things fit with my athletes. But honestly, set those realistic goals of what you need that to be. And if you can go to the gym for 45 minutes, make those 45 minutes count. Do supersets. Did three supersets will be a circuit training. Do something like that. Push it. Don't sit there and just look at the weight and wonder what the fuck you're gonna do. Have a plan. Show up with a plan and be ready to go. Attack it. I'm the trainer of my friends group, so I know when you guys were talking about Van, I'm the Van in my friends group. I'm the one everyone calls for advice on fitness, or I have to train them and I have to drag them along. But I don't longer go with my friends because right now I'm having to cut my gym time in half. So I'm doing that. Honestly, that's my thing. Be realistic and have those goals. And if you can afford to have a trainer, hire a trainer. It is a little bit more expensive. I'm aware of that. But you need, if you're beginning to start, beginning a gym, you need to know where to start.
Yeah. So this Teddy guy, I'm not sure who he is, but he's got kids or something, and he keeps talking shit. I'm gonna kick him off the podcast. I don't want to read his shit anymore.
Oh my Lord. Teddy's not just talking shit. Teddy apparently really likes me. He told me I've got good points.
Yeah.
And then Jorge decided to tell him to just make out with me, which I appreciate the hype, Jorge, but I'm not down for it. Like I'm not. Like I'm sorry. No offense to anybody who might be down for that, but not me.
I do want to say this. Thanks to everybody that's commenting on here, but watching as well, because there has been a ton of people on this podcast, like a lot. So if you guys have any other questions, or if you guys have any questions or anything that you guys want to drop below, feel free to drop it. I do have one by Steve here that he pulled up.
Yeah.
You want to go ahead and read that one, Will?
Yeah, I'll read it real quick. Just before we hit this, though, Teddy did, during like earlier conversation, he did ask a quick two-word question just about posting pictures.
Post pics.
Post pics ? So there's a couple ways to go about that. And there is a science behind like the progress picture type thing. Some people do use their social media as like a fitness journal. For example, one high-level bodybuilder, Fuad Abiad, has always said like while he was competing, his Instagram was his fitness journal. It was how he kept up with what he was doing, how well he did, when he looked good, when he didn't. I know it's just pointing at herself. It's what she uses it for. I don't personally use it for that. I don't post a lot of off-season pics. I do here and there, not a ton. But progress pictures are important. You got to look at it like this. If you're, say, like Eddie, he's on a big weight loss journey right now. He's probably taking pictures week over week so he can go back and compare them week to week, because we see ourselves in a mirror constantly. Anytime you go into a bathroom, if you're walking through a retail store, like there's mirrors everywhere. Every single time you get in your car, you can see your reflection in the window. So it's hard for you to see the changes in your body as they're happening because you're seeing your body so often. So whenever you take a step back and you look at a picture from a week ago, and then you look at a current picture. Jorge just put in a pretty funny quote. George said, "I think instead of shoving ice cream on your nipples, you should shove them up your ass." LOL. Wow. I don't know what kind of conversation they've got going on back and forth in the comment section.
There's a backstory to that, because Steve is trying to he's on TikTok and he's been doing these like TikTok challenge.
Oh God.
I love it. But so picture comparisons, stuff like that, week to week. I'm sure if you looked at Eddie's week 1 versus, or like day 1 versus his week 7 check-in, like it's a drastic difference in those pictures. So like that's where you go back and you can continue to be motivated by your own progress, because you're not going to see a lot of change day to day. It's going to look normal to you because you're seeing it all the time. But as far as Steve's question, so I sleep about 4 to 5 hours a day. I try to work out every day at 5 a.m., but find it very difficult to change my eating habits. I run my construction business during the morning and building my marketing business at night, which I guess is possibly just a TikTok account. Probably not. You're probably building a legitimate business, but I had to throw in the joke. How do I make time? Because I try to spend some quality time with the kiddos. Be a good dad first, in my opinion. What do you think I should do to add working out to the schedule with little sleep? My perspective. Yeah, that's a good way to do it. A 45-minute high intensity interval training would be a good way to do it. One of the biggest things here from what I'm seeing, like if you're the amount of time that you could save just from workout at home. Because I mean, like if you're not trying to be a bodybuilder, if you're not trying to be a power lifter, if you're not trying to be an athlete about it and you just want to be healthy, get some resistance training in, there's a ton of stuff that you can do at home.
With the kids.
Yeah, and you can do it with the kids. Kids may want to jump in and do it with you. I don't know that they're going to want to do it at 5 a.m., but they may want to jump in and do it with you. So it's one of those things. If you're traveling to a gym at 5 o'clock in the morning, like your drive's going to be shorter because there's no one on the roads. But you've got to calculate that time into your day, getting to the gym, getting back, showering, so on and so forth. It adds a lot of time.
You can also just take your stuff and shower at the gym.
Absolutely.
Yeah, realistically, right? So we got kids ourselves, not Will, but I try to fit the gym into my life, not the other way around, right? I'm not forcing myself to go to the gym. I'm trying to fit that into my life while still spending. I mean, I work 14-hour days, 12 to 14-hour days, got 3 kids, a wife, and everything. I work out after work because I know that at work, that's when my getting to bed. So I get off at 8:30. At that time, it's a school night. They should be in bed, getting ready to go to sleep, right? So I'll go and I'll decide to, I'm gonna work out at night. That's what I'm gonna do. So I'm fitting in that schedule into my schedule and not having to worry about, I'm gonna miss a workout here, miss a workout there. Like I know that I can get my workouts in because that's how it was designed. With construction and everything, so I guess I'm having trouble understanding. It says it's very difficult.
Essentially,
he's just your eating habits, or have you not changed your eating habits? That's the.
I think he's saying it's difficult to change his eating
everything
habits
basically.
well. Yeah, so I mean, like your workout, what I would do, I would find a way to work out at home. You don't have to go buy a full home gym and a power rack and all that nonsense. But like get some dumbbells, maybe one kettlebell. Kettlebells can be cool, but there's very few things that you can do with a kettlebell that you can't do with a dumbbell. Get maybe a bench, build a bench. You're a construction worker. There's a lot of different ways to go around this. Steve said he has changed them. I would do that.
Let me cut you
quick.
off real quick, Will.
Bands are also going to be your friend.
So I'm trying to, and the only reason I cut you off here, Will, is simply because I've talked to Steve before. Is realistically, if this is me asking you a question, Steve, you say you've changed your eating habits. Have you really changed them? How have you changed
Both
them?
of you
Because,
are.
like, you have to be 100% honest with yourself or honest with us if you want to be honest, but how much have you actually changed them? Because in reality, you're bigger than George from the pictures that I've seen, right? So for you, it's going to be easier for you to lose weight simply by changing your eating habits. If you can't fit in the gym into your schedule right now due to like kids and all the work that you're doing, that's cool. But I look at it like, construction isn't an easy thing. You're moving a lot. Like you're moving a lot, so you're burning calories doing that. And in reality is if you have really changed your eating habits to the point where you've created a deficit, then you're going to lose weight.
I completely agree with what you said. Additional resistance training. God, are we just going to pass around the cutting out stuff? Eddie was cutting out bad a minute ago, but we're just going to play fucking hot potato with technical difficulties, apparently. Anyway, I agree with it. Additional resistance training, like specific resistance training, it has a completely different application. And I think that's the time is his biggest issue right now is what it looks like. So if time is your issue, the easiest way to fix it is work out at home. And no one can tell me that they can't do that or they can't get a good enough workout in during like quarantine. The main part of the quarantine COVID shutdown. The best purchase I have ever made in as far as like equipment goes, I bought a set of row resistance bands and I did workouts for every single muscle group the entire quarantine. All I had was the bands and a single 25-pound dumbbell. And I was able to get incredible workouts in the entire time. To the point where at the time, my coach at the time with one of my check-ins even said, he was like, I'm not sure what you're doing with the workouts, but whatever you're doing, keep doing it because you're improving a lot. And bands also have a different strength curve than your typical free weights and so on and so forth. So if you're used to lifting free weights, moving to band work, you're going to see a large improvement very fast, kind of like beginner gains because they're taxing your muscle in a very different way. But he did add another comment. He said, I cut fried foods from the restaurant. I do homemade food mainly. I don't do the labor. I have others doing it for me.
Well,
so he's a supervisor. But as far as like homemade food, you got to be careful with some of that too. Add like cooking with certain oils, so on and so forth. And condiments is another big problem that a lot of people don't realize they have. Like the back of your ketchup bottle may say that it only has 50 calories in it, but that 50 calories is 1 tablespoon of ketchup.
And I don't think a lot
you're
of people
using a
realize
lot more than 1 tablespoon of ketchup. I promise you. You might have half a tablespoon on 2 French fries. So
that's another thing, right? So I look at that comment. I cut fried foods out from restaurants. It's in reality, we're going to get into this topic, Will and I, on a different episode. But in reality, you cutting out those fried foods, sure, those fried foods from a restaurant are going to be higher calories, right? You don't know what they're being cooked in. There's oil in that and everything. But even with the food that just because you're eating at home, if you're not eating in a caloric deficit, you're not going to lose weight. You could be eating 4,000, 5,000 calories, even though you're eating at home and not see any changes in your body. Back to what Will was saying about the workout is, and Ainoa kind of said it here as well too, she brought up insanity. So when I first lost the 180 pounds, I actually lost all that weight with T25, with Sean T, which is a 25-minute HIIT workout. And then literally it was 5 days a week, 25 minutes out of my day. That's all I did and ate healthy. And I lost 170 pounds. You can actually go back, and I won the Beachbody Challenge. I was so into Beachbody back then, but I won the Beachbody Challenge and won money for losing weight with that program. I was actually a poster child for like their DVDs and shit, which is pretty fucking funny. I was into that.
Is funny. Teddy just asked simply, yes, Teddy. So he just said, so it's all about the calories.
Yes.
We commented on that in the first episode, but there's obviously a lot more that goes into it and from a lot of different angles. But the simplest way to put weight loss is calories in, calories out, whether you're in a surplus and you're gaining weight or you're in a deficit and you're losing weight. The simplest way to look at weight loss is my total daily caloric expenditure, which is what it's referred to in the nutrition side of things. Yeah. Is that higher than my caloric intake? If so, I'm going to lose weight. That's the science is that simple. Is my total daily expenditure lower than my caloric intake? If so, I'm going to gain weight. So like I said, it does get more complicated than that with making certain points, but simply put, that's how it works.
Yeah, we got a question for Miss Ainoa here. Do you want to read that one? That one's specifically for you. Oh, you can't see it? Okay. It says from Miguel on YouTube as well. It says, so there are days I lack motivation, but still have the discipline to show up to the gym, but the workout tends to feel sluggish and weak. How do I move past that? Any suggestions?
Okay, so I've had that day on Friday. I actually had the not suckiest, but it wasn't at my typical, yes, I killed this workout. It was just a lot going on in my head. I listened to CT Fletcher.
Yes.
I need someone to tell me I need to stop eating fucking bonbons and stop being a little pussy. And
wait.
It's still your motherfucking set.
Exactly. And that motivates me. Like literally that gets in my head. My boyfriend makes fun of me. He's like, you're so weird. You love to get that talk like that. And I was like, yes, like call me a bitch. That won't make me work.
Dude, that was my stand-up coach whenever I did MMA in high school. He called us a bitch and a pussy the entire time.
Yeah, that was my CrossFit. My CrossFit coach is like, you stop being a little pussy, get that shit up. And that's literally how I go. So I listened to CT Fletcher, and you're not always gonna have a great day at the gym. That is not what you don't go with that mentality that every day you're gonna kill it. There's gonna be days that you are just gonna go with emotions.
Yeah. What matters is the fact that you were there and actually did it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like getting to the gym is doing more than 90% of the other people.
Yeah, just show up and do something. You're not always gonna leave the gym drenched in sweat.
Yeah,
that's thing.
Good. That's a good question for Will too. I mean, how many times do you actually go to the gym and you have those days where you lack motivation? I mean, I train 7 days a week. I'm not going to sit here and bullshit and be like, oh yeah, I go in there 7 days a week and fucking kill it every time.
Yeah,
because that's untrue.
Yeah, so that's something. It's different for everybody, right? So different people have different splits and so on and so forth. I split mine into different muscle groups.
Same.
And like I just have certain muscle groups that I have better days training. My leg days, I very rarely ever have a bad leg day. And that's a lot of it's because it's just I'm so focused on growing my legs right now because I feel like I have chicken legs.
Because you got baby calves.
I don't have baby calves. It's really my hamstrings and my quads that kill me. But
I like your booty.
I know you do. I was about to make a really bad comment, but I cut myself off. Oh God.
Gross.
But hey, you said you were one of the guys. I was doing it because I don't know what our audience is at with it.
I'm admiring the fact that you stopped yourself. I'm applauding you.
Yeah, no, that was tough, but I did. But I mean, like my back days here lately have just been horrible. Like I haven't felt like I've had a really good back workout, and I even sent a quick video into our group. Into me and Eddie's group of me PRing on single arm dumbbell rows. And I still I hit a big PR. And I still did not feel like I had a good workout. So, I mean, life's a roller coaster, right? Like if every workout was a great workout, none of them would be great. Right. So
Exactly.
like you have to have bad workouts and you have to have those to be able for the great ones to feel like they're great. And on top of that, there's a lot of argument on, if you feel like you can barely contract a muscle because you've trained it so hard every single time you go into the gym, are you overtraining? Like, are you doing too much?
Yeah, because that is the thing.
Yeah, like there's an argument around that as well. So it's one of those you don't need. And I tell myself that after I have like a workout where I don't feel like I absolutely killed it, I'll look at myself in the mirror before I leave the gym, like in the locker room, and be like, got to remember that not every workout can feel like that or you're going to hurt yourself.
Correct.
So as far as that goes, Jorge just pelted us with questions back to back. Jorge, if you're only drinking half a gallon of water based on what they've said, you've got to drink more. To put
aim for a gallon.
Yeah, to put it simply, whenever I first started my weight loss journey back in like high school, the person that I was working with, to make it very, very simple for me, they just essentially said, figure out a rough body fat percentage. So like figure it out, go use like one of the little in-body machines somewhere, a little like bioelectrical impedance, and see how much lean body weight you have. And then drink 1 ounce for every pound of lean body mass. And if you're 250 pounds and 25% body fat, you're going to be a little over a gallon a day, a gallon and a half. But that's a simple way to do it. There's science behind a lot of that. I say it's safe to shoot between 1 and 2 gallons all the time. He also asked, what are the best days to work out? That's all about you. He also
for you, George, you just need to get the fuck in the gym. That's me calling you out on video, right? We've had this conversation with Teddy plenty of times where like I don't want to throw your shit out there, but it's just a matter of like you actually getting to the gym. Time, we can get into the whole fasted training and all that shit on a different podcast. But I think for you right now at this moment, it's a matter of figuring out whether you want to work out 3 days a week, 4 days, 5 days, whatever it is, and actually sticking to that, and then worry about the rest. It's small changes right now.
The biggest part is just fitting it in your schedule.
Hey, what is his goal? Like, does he just want to lose weight?
He wants to lose weight, tone up, pretty much.
Okay, so, and he's the one, it was Steven, right? The one that said it was the issue with the kids, right?
Yeah, that was Steve, but George has similar issues as well. He's got a wife and kids.
Okay, well, I would suggest just to show up twice a week.
Yeah.
And do HIIT training twice a week and just to start from there.
Realistically, I hear this on other podcasts. I'm not sure if you guys listen to the Mind Pump podcast, but realistically, and after research that I've done, 3 full body workouts in 1 week will get you to a pretty good body if you keep your diet pretty clean.
You don't even have to 2-hour workout either. I mean, if you really just want to lose weight and just be healthy, because that's basically Will and I both have extremes of being athletes. I do CrossFit and powerlifting. So if I'm in competition level, I am moving my life around my gym.
Yeah. And that's
just it.
Yeah. And a lot of it, there's a lot of things I don't necessarily agree, me being me and coming from the background I come from, I don't agree in 3 full body workouts a week. And science says that there's just not enough time to recover in between those workouts. And that's just me being what my friends call me like the human encyclopedia is how they make fun of me for it.
Shut the fuck up.
Exactly. But we'll like Eddie said, we'll go into that kind of stuff later on down the road. All of these questions that you're asking though, Jorge, minus the water question, they're all very subjective. So what are the best days? It's the best day that fits into your schedule. If you're a busy person and you can't say I am going 6 days a week, you can't work it into a daily schedule, figure out what days. It may just be weekends that you can go get a workout in, but go kill it on the weekends. As far as is it better to work out at night or in the AM, it's subjective. Some people work out better and later. Some people are morning people. Some people are evening people. They're night owls. Some people prefer to work out not having eaten anything at all. Some people need food in their systems. I'm someone that I need food in my system, but I also don't want to have food in my stomach when I work out. So I time my meals. And then as far as is it better to work out with a friend or your lover? That's subjective. My girlfriend and I could not work out together. Hey, there, that's my pup. That's my child.
You too have a visitor.
I do have a visitor. He's apparently looking for some butt scratches right now. But like Jalen and I, we couldn't work out together. I don't do CrossFit workouts. They're not my jam. Bodybuilding workouts are not her jam. We tried it one time. Actually, we've done it twice. Neither of the 2 times has it gone well the entire time. Typically she goes off and does her own thing after 2 movements. But past that, I mean, I prefer to work out with other guys that are near my weight ranges.
Maybe.
Do what?
Maybe for a spotter.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's good to have somebody as a spotter, but me personally, I prefer to work out with a workout partner that's in similar weight ranges or is far above me as far as skill level and strength and everything goes, because that gives me kind of competition to push against and to try to be better. That's something that Ainoa was talking about, where she goes into a gym, she doesn't pick other girls. She takes the biggest, baddest dude, and that's who she competes with. So it's preference on how you want to handle that.
Yeah, my boyfriend and I do train together. The level of weights that I move, my female friends could not handle that. So I do need him. And I am a girl, so if I was to go ask a random dude to spot me, it's kind of weird. And that's how I got my rotator cuff injury, because a guy couldn't bench. Yeah. So there's
lift weight you bench press.
Was this guy Teddy?
I was like, dude, I don't even have boobs. What was your fucking issue? I'm built like a power lifter. I have pecs. He literally dropped it. I was doing 225.
Is that your dog?
Yeah, he found his loudest squeaky toy and he's going at it right now.
All right. So with that being said, tonight's we went over the hour here, but I do want to touch on this topic real quick, because the topic for tonight was discipline and consistency, right? Which we've kind of we touched on them a bit, but where do you guys, who wants to start off with that? We'll try to make that within the next 15 minutes or so. Kind of touch on that topic. Will, do you want to start with that, or?
Yeah. So, I mean, discipline and consistency across both. So like I said earlier, discipline only holds value when you lack motivation. So if you're somebody who can be easily motivated and easily self-motivated, you don't necessarily need a ton of discipline, but you are going to need it in the times where you do lose the motivation. as far as consistency goes, the key to developing consistency is planning, right? So if you've got to find workouts, you've got to find diets, so on, so forth, that you're comfortable with, you enjoy. Like if you don't enjoy training like a bodybuilder, try out CrossFit, try out powerlifting, do whatever, like go do something. Play pickup basketball, full court pickup basketball every single day, like 5 days a week if you need to, like if that's what it is. But do something you enjoy, and then it's not going to be hard to be consistent about it because you're not going to be dreading doing it. Same with your diet. Find a diet plan that you can enjoy, that you don't hate doing it every day, and that'll help you find somebody. Not everyone can be like me. I'm sure Eddie can't be like me. I eat like a robot. If you tell me to eat a cup of rice and 8 ounces of chicken 6 times a day, I will do it and I won't complain. But I've conditioned myself over the course of 4 years to do that too. So it's all about finding what works for you, what you can be comfortable with, and then just sticking to that. They say it takes 30 days to create a habit, 90 days to create a lifestyle. Make that your goal. Don't miss a day for 30 days. And then just reset that goal. Don't miss a day for the next 30 days and then the next 30 days. And at that point, it's just a part of your life.
Yeah, it eventually, yeah, you're right. I mean, it eventually becomes a habit, right? After 30 days, 21 days, 30 days, it eventually becomes a part of you and it becomes a habit. But what a lot of people struggle with is making it past the first day, right? This is where, just the first day, this is where consistency and like discipline kicks in, right? So your mind is set. You're like, fuck yeah, today I'm going to start a diet, or today I'm going to lose weight, or whatever it is. And you have like a healthy breakfast, right? You're like, oh, I'm going to eat eggs or whatever, keep it pretty small, have a healthy breakfast. Lunchtime comes around and you're like, fuck, I really want to go eat tacos or pizza or whatever it is. And people don't even make it past lunch or dinner. Eventually they're just like, oh yeah, you know what? I had a good breakfast. I had a good lunch. I'm going to go all out on dinner. And that's where people don't realize that, hey, you're now no longer being consistent in what you're doing. If you can't make it past that one day, it's going to be really difficult for you to be able to build on 21 days or 30 days, because that one day or the first week is going to be extremely hard. You got to be consistent at least those first 7 days, and then make it to week 2 and tell yourself, hey, I got a whole week under my belt now. I can do this. And then it's just a matter of building on that the following week until you get to 30 days and it becomes a part of you.
So my thing, I actually did, I host another podcast somewhere else too. And I always do this. I always get a topic and I find the definition of it. So I was going to do that. So consistency is the quality of being dependable. So how dependable can you be within yourself about keeping the discipline of reaching that goal? And we all talk about weight loss, and this is what it's for, but the reality of the reason why we want to lose weight is because we want to be healthy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, overall, we want to be healthy. Like you said, like, you know, if I continue to gain weight, I'm not going to be here. So how reliable can you be to your family, to your loved ones, if you're not consistent on this path that you're taking? That's just the thing. And then discipline, honestly, you did say that if you're easily motivated, but discipline takes more than, you know, being motivated. I always get asked, you know, how do you have the motivation to go to the gym every day? I don't have the motivation. I usually go out of motivation maybe twice a week. I did a 21-day fast, and all I took was green juices and water. The first day, dude, I'm not a morning eater. I don't like to eat in the morning, okay? The first day of that freaking fast, I was starving in the morning.
Yep.
So your body's gonna fight you step of the way, and that's when your discipline comes in, and that's when your consistency steps in. Whenever you freaking tell yourself, like, I made a commitment to myself that I was gonna go through this. you know, and then you have to have a bigger goal. Like my goal for my fast was a spiritual growth. So you can't have something, you know, very subtle where you can be like, oh, I want to lose 5 pounds. So instead of drinking soda, I'm going to drink water. That's easy, right? But when the goal gets bigger, your discipline has to come in hand.
And that's what a lot of people lack nowadays, right? It's one when they look at like a diet, right? They don't see changes right away, so they're not consistent long enough to, or disciplined long enough to be able to see those changes. And in reality is you're not going to see changes in your body day one or half a day. You're not going to see myself. You're not going to see changes, 4 or 5 weeks down the road. Talk to me in about 2 months, a month and a half, 2 months, when I can actually, you guys might be able to see these changes, but I won't be able to see them myself. Discipline is a hard one. And this is where I'm going to be pretty tough with you guys, is at the end of the day, you really got to fucking want it, right? Mm-hmm. It's you have to really fucking want it and be disciplined. But I'll be 100% honest. I'm on a diet. I'm on a journey. My wife is fit. She's 135 pounds, 138 pounds, whatever. And I got kids, and they eat whatever the fuck they want. Like, I'm not going to stop them from living their life and eating, whatever they have for dinner or whatever. But I'm disciplined now enough to say, hey, you don't fucking need that food. Stick to whatever your meal plan is this day and after the gym. And if you like discipline, you're not going to be able to pull yourself out of that mental state to say, hey, I don't need to eat this cake, or hey, I don't need to eat this slice of pizza because it's not my cheat day or whatever. So
holy cow, to build on that, this is just something that I've come across in the past with fathers that have talked to me about stuff. One of the biggest things that I've always heard come back about, like, how, well, I accidentally ate a little bit more here and I ate more here than I should have, is the excuse of, well, I don't necessarily eat the same that my family does, but like sometimes my kids don't finish their meals, and like I don't want to see that food go to waste, so I just end up finishing my kids' meals. Like, think about it like this. Like, if you were eating what your family was eating, you would have already gotten your portion.
Yeah.
Like, just because, like, you're at that point, you're probably not going to finish what your kid ate because you filled up on your portion already. Like, you already went back for seconds or thirds. I used to do that all the time. Granted, I was a growing teenager, and every growing teenager does that. But I mean, that's not an excuse to eat what they had. Just because it got put on a plate doesn't mean that it can't be put in Tupperware and be leftovers either. Like, as long as there's just not a massive bite taken out of that one piece of ravioli. You can take the other 3 pieces of ravioli and slap them in a piece of Tupperware.
Yep.
But as far as Steve's last question, go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt you. I was just going to say that, remember, the food is not to emotionally feed us, but it's supposed to feed our bodies so we can stay alive.
Yeah, it's supposed to provide your body the energy that it needs to function.
You can't put diesel in a gas engine, people. You can't do it. Which there's extremes of that. I live on the extreme side of that, where I look at food mostly the vast majority of the time. I just look at food as fuel for the body. So I'm going to try to put premium gas in my sports car. Like, if you want to be a Ferrari, you got to fill it with the right fuel. If you want to be a Dodge Caravan, be a Dodge Caravan. Ding dong.
I'm gonna fill it up with soccer moms. So Steve, Steve's got a question on here.
Steve,
let me touch on this real quick, Will, just because I've been down this cycle. I've actually experimented with this. I'm not sure if you guys have, but yes, Will, I have heard. Yes, Will. Yes, Steve, I have fasted before. When I first lost the weight, right, all the weight, I went through every possible diet that you could, or diet or style of eating that you could possibly fucking think about. And fasting was a big one for me. I used to do a 16-8 fast. So I would eat in an 8-hour window and then not eat for 16 hours. You can do that at the end. This is a tricky one, and this is my experience with it, right? It's still going to come down to the fucking calories in, calories out. It's that simple. This is how simple it is to lose weight without getting into the metabolism side of things, fasting isn't no magical way for you to lose weight. Just because you're eating in 8 hours, taking all your calories, you can still overeat in 8 hours above the amount that you're supposed to have and still gain weight. Now, there's a lot of benefits to fasting. So obviously they say, I don't know the whole benefit side of things, but they do say that when you fast, your body has more time to fully digest its food, and it's taking different levels to use for energy, whatever that is. You can add to that. But it still comes into calories in, calories out. Don't think that because you're going to fast, you're going to lose some magic weight, because if you still eat more than what you're supposed to, you're still going to put on weight, or you're not going to lose weight. So,
yeah. And I mean, there's kind of to build on that, and fasting, I'm sure, is like an entire podcast topic that we'll have at some point.
correct.
But to boil it down to really simple stuff, what Eddie's saying is right. Like we said earlier, simply it's calories in, calories out. To even take intermittent fasting to an extreme for a short period of time here recently, there was what was called the OMAD diet, short for 1 meal a day, where you would literally eat all of your caloric intake for a single day in 1 meal, typically eaten at night. But I mean, like, I'm a person, like, I've eaten food to the point where, like, I don't have the full, like, the whatever pathway in my brain is supposed to be there to tell me that I'm full and I don't need to eat anymore. I don't have it anymore. I've had to force feed too many times for diets to try to gain weight. So I can eat 5,000 calories in 1 meal or in an 8-hour window and still gain a shitload of weight. So it's intermittent fasting. A lot of times people do it during their work hours, so that way it's harder for them to shove more food down their throats, and it makes it harder for them to eat more food, eat more calories. But at the end of the day, it still comes down to calories. And fasting does have a lot of benefits, but the real benefits of fasting don't really start until you fasted for a 24-hour period.
Correct.
And we'll get into more research and stuff on that later on down the road. But intermittent fasting, that fasting portion, realistically isn't giving you a whole lot of like the big benefits of fasting. But like I said, we'll get into that more later. That's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah, and I used mine. So the only reason I fasted for in that 8-hour window, right, or in the 8-hour window, was the simple fact that I knew that within 8 hours I wasn't going to be able to consume an X amount of calories. So I was creating a caloric deficit in those 8 hours. I was like, oh, if I eat 5 meals in 8 hours, I'm only going to be able to eat 3 meals because I eat every 4 to 5 hours, whatever it was at the time. So it was putting me in a caloric deficit for me to lose weight. But at the end of the day, it hurt me because I wasn't eating enough. And that's a whole nother topic. Miss Garcia did say she loved fasting. What's your take on that?
So I work out better while fasting. So my fasting will be kind of intermediate fasting, and my last meal will be 6 or 7 p.m. and I won't have my next meal until 12. And then I will do a CrossFit WOD. During summer season, this is competition season, this is how I train. My body just performs better like that.
So you train fasted then?
Yes. And
So-
I literally function better. I connect better to the movement and everything.
So are you, when you're working out fasted, are you working out fasted in the sense that from the time you wake up to the time you start your workout, you're not eating anything, or you're just allowing enough time that you've completely digested all the food from the last meal you ate and you're working out?
So my training class my WOD won't start until say 10, and my last meal was the 7 p.m. the night. So I give it enough time to be digested.
Yeah.
So I do absorb everything.
Gotcha. So yeah, the nutritional science, and the only reason I keep on bouncing back to all this is because I literally just took I finished the final for my nutrition certification last night. So it's just fresh on my mind. But the nutritional science does like point to the fact that for peak athletic performance, you cannot have food in your stomach.
It's funny you say that because, and she touched on it too, right? when I used to fast, I used to train fasted as well. And I felt a whole lot better training, but I was doing a shit ton of cardio. So I'm not sure, again, I'm not a scientist, or I don't have the background that Will does, but when I did cardio or when I did HIIT, I did really, really well fasted. Any type of endurance workout or anything of that nature.
It doesn't work well.
Yeah.
Correct. That's what I was going to get into. When I lift heavy now, it seems like I have to have carbs in my body maybe 2 to 3 hours before to give me the energy that I need to go into the gym to be able to push heavy weight.
Absolutely. So for example, for me, I time my pre-workout meal. My pre-workout meal is very low in fats. It's easily digestible protein, but it's timed. So I allow at least 60 minutes from the time that I finish my meal to this time that I start warming up in the gym. Usually it's closer to 90 minutes. And I'm only eating foods that I know are going to digest well in my system. So just think about it as like, if you eat a normal meal 30, 45 minutes before you go to the gym, think about like you just putting a 5-pound weight vest across your stomach and then doing your entire workout with it.
Yeah.
Like you may not notice a huge difference, but by the end of your workout, like that 5 pounds adds up.
Yeah.
Anywho.
Yeah.
We definitely went over. Teddy said that these need to be longer. I imagine anytime that we have a guest, these will probably go a little bit longer. So as far as that goes, I really want to thank Iona for coming on here and being willing to share her story, share her thoughts, and her kind of the way she sees things. She's obvious. She comes from a very different background from all sides as far as fitness journey and literally where she comes from compared to myself and Eddie. So it's great to get another perspective in here. So I definitely want to thank you for being willing to come on and being so open with us.
And
it was a pleasure.
Yeah, it really was a pleasure. I wanted to share the women's side of things, right? And obviously you're not going to be the only woman that we have on the podcast, but it is nice to see, again, every time that I see you in the gym, right? It's like, oh, she's a mama force. She's in here killing it all the time. That's inspiring and motivating. And that story alone could possibly help a lot of other people, the girls that watch this podcast. So thank you for that. And I do admire you for that as well.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. And a huge thank you for the amount of people that have came on here tonight, because there was a ton of people.
Awesome.
I do appreciate everybody that dropped in, even if you were joking around or talking shit to one another. But
yeah,
anybody who dropped comments below or had any questions, especially we got some YouTube traffic as well. That's awesome. We do go live every Sunday at 8 p.m. Central, and it'll either be Will and myself or a guest. We'll let you guys know throughout the week, but it truly does mean a lot that you guys want to listen to the knowledge that we have. And it helps us grow. So thank you guys for that.
Absolutely. And it also, we appreciate you greatly. And both of you said, it was an absolute pleasure having you on. And I did just want to kind of reiterate, I'm very thankful for everybody that comes in here and is like asking real questions and kind of pulling it out. It makes our job, not that this is a job for me, this is more of a passion project, is sharing knowledge and helping people. It makes it super easy on us though. Coming in and asking specific questions, it not only does it help you get those immediate specific answers, you're not going on like a forum or on somebody's post on Instagram and commenting a question and hoping that they message back and reply. It gives us a great way to follow the direction that you guys need us to follow and kind of flow through and so on and so forth. So I greatly appreciate all of the questions that come out, the funny ones, the serious ones, all of them are great. It just adds to what we're doing here, and it makes this so much easier, so much more fun, and I'm sure entertaining for everybody else. But with that, I will let Eddie wrap the thing up.
Yep. Yeah, guys, again, I appreciate everybody that's on here. Drop a like, subscribe to either, the Instagram page, the YouTube page, Facebook page, whichever one you guys want to do. I did drop Miss Garcia's, I love calling you Miss Garcia, I don't know why. But Miss Garcia's link to her podcast. That's her podcast, right? Ainoa?
Yes, that is my podcast, a warrior mindset, where we discuss literally everything that comes into mind.
Awesome.
Literally everything, sex, everything.
Sweet. So her link is in the description. Make sure that you guys go check her out. Follow her on Instagram or Facebook, whatever you guys want to do. She does have a special journey. And again, she's a great example for you ladies, or if there's any ladies on here who watch this, to kind of follow her journey and her Instagram to see the work that she puts in. But again, guys, thank you so much for coming on. It was a pleasure. We will see you guys next Sunday. You guys have a good night.
You too. Stay safe.